This patent, US 6,792,379, titled Database Control of Integrated Circuits, is the foundational patent behind modern DVFS and AVS technology. It was invented by Yoshiyuki Ando, filed in April 2002, and granted in September 2004. So what exactly does this patent cover? In plain terms, every chip that comes off a wafer performs slightly differently due to manufacturing variation. This patent describes testing each chip after manufacturing, writing its unique performance limits into on-chip non-volatile memory, and then using that stored data to control the chip during operation, instead of applying one conservative setting to every unit. The core claim covers testing a chip for voltage, clock speed, and bias data, then storing that data in a programmable non-volatile reference table that a monitor circuit reads to configure the chip. There are 3 reasons this patent is considered a true foundational patent. First, it moved DVFS from theory to practice by solving the process variation problem that plagued earlier approaches. Second, it introduced automated post-silicon calibration, testing each die and burning its unique data into non-volatile memory. Third, it enabled per-die optimal operation, the architecture underlying today's adaptive voltage scaling. This patent doesn't work alone. It pairs with a companion patent, US 6,957,163, for post-silicon thermal control. US 379 handles variation-aware power efficiency, while US 163 monitors temperature and overwrites voltage and clock data in real time. Together, they form a unified power and thermal management system that lets chips run at their limit without breaking. Around this core idea, a family of related patents extended the technology. One covers the tester-linked data write process at the wafer stage. Another introduces dynamic correction for aging-related characteristic drift over a chip's service life. And a third extends the idea to multi-domain SOCs where each block, CPU, GPU, or image processor holds its own independent calibration data. This architecture is now built into the world's leading processors. Apple Silicon uses ASIC quality binning and thermal throttling. Intel Core processors use factory-fused voltage-frequency curves managed by dynamic tuning technology. Qualcomm Snapdragon chips use PVS and CPR to bin and control each chip individually. And AMD Ryzen processors use CPPC to identify and prioritize each chip's best-performing cores. This architecture is now built into the world's leading processors. Apple Silicon uses ASIC quality binning and thermal throttling. Intel Core processors use factory-fused voltage-frequency curves managed by dynamic tuning technology. Qualcomm Snapdragon chips use PVS and CPR to bin and control each chip individually. And AMD Ryzen processors use CPPC to identify and prioritize each chip's best-performing cores. The patent's importance is reflected in its citation record. 40 later patents cite US 6,792,379, and patent examiners have independently recognized 19 of those as valid prior art. Transmeta, NVIDIA, and IBM account for the largest share of citations, with additional citations from Micron, Intel, Sony, AMD, HP, and ARM. In summary, US 6,792,379 is not a narrow circuit patent. It connects manufacturing test data, non-volatile memory storage, and, together with its companion patent, real-time thermal control, it defines the test, store, and control architecture that is now standard in nearly every SoC and CPU, and its influence is directly reflected in technology from Apple, Intel, Qualcomm, and AMD.